All right, guys, so we have a real special claim story today. We've heard about this one a few times here, but now that we have the actual numbers, and maybe we can actually hear it from the guy himself that went out there and sold this and do this. Because sometimes, we see all these claims and they're like, 500 here, 1,000 here, and all that kind of stuff. But when I first started here, there was a guy, he was a regional manager at the time, and he said, Mark, all those little ones are cool, but that's not the real reason we're building this business. The real reason why Combined is here is for things that where something serious happens and it really does change their financial house. Not even just them, it could be their entire family. And we never think about it, what actually happens when cancer happens. People just pull out their credit card and start spending money and just like, oh, everything's going to fix itself afterwards. Now we're blessed to be in Canada, that our hospitals are taken care of and most of that kind of stuff, but the financial strain becomes into stress. And we don't think about that stuff as when you're hurt or somebody in your family, you don't care about anything. And then the stress starts to kick in and be like, oh, wow, how come I never can get ahead? And sometimes it's just one injury that sets you off for 6 months and you will never be able to get that because maybe you had savings that you thought, and now the savings is gone. And you're just like, I don't care anymore. We don't know what can actually happen to somebody. And if they have the protection, what we have here for these big things, that's why we're here. And these are the stories we want to share. So let's bring up the wonderful Mr. Daniel Swanson with one of his first claims and one of the biggest claims in the district. Let's give it up for Mr. Daniel Swanson.
Good morning, D6. Yeah, so I don't get an opportunity to tell the whole story very often because obviously this happened quite a few years ago, but this was like really early in my career. This is like probably when I was right around maybe just around a year licensed with the company. And it's a funny story how it all began because it's not like I sold this guy insurance and this has happened. There's more to it. I actually went to a trade show, one like the Spring Home and Garden Show, something like that. Just going and networking, doing my thing, doing my sales thing, making contacts, meeting people. And one of my friends that I met there that I went to high school with, he introduced me to an owner of one of the exhibitors. He owned a painting company. I networked with this guy. We connected, we chatted. It was all good. I'm like, you know what, man? Like, we should check out this coverage. He's like, you know what? We don't have much money. I'm like, that's perfect. This will actually be, it's very affordable. He's like, okay, I'll hear you out. So I met up with the owner of this painting company. His name is Nikolai. The company was called Stir Sticks Painting. And Nikolai saw the coverage. He loved it. He's like, man, this is great. Like, I can't afford much, but I want to get all of my employees, like a couple of policies. Like he got the Hospital Essentials Accident Plan 2, and at the time it was called an ITOP, which is the Stitches Plan. So all in, he's paying $36 per employee, and $24 of that was the HEA. So I come in feeling pretty pumped. I get my sale. I get to sell small business, a little company. I had to get it approved from Combined. It was a whole process. I was proud of myself. I'm like, yes, I get some income. I help, not really. I mean, you're glad you're helping people, but you're not thinking, okay. So I sign up. One of the employees, his name was Landon. 19-year-old kid, super bright, super healthy, had his whole life ahead of him. He was probably just doing painting for the summertime until he was going to go to university or whatever. So I signed them all up, got my commission, walked away. Thought I did a good job, and I actually went to follow up with Landon. Landon's like, you know what? I think I might actually want to get some more extra insurance because it sounds really good. I'm like, great, I'll follow up with you. So I followed up with him the next week. Next week, I call him. Oh, you know what? My mom says she has coverage for me, so I'm not going to get any. I'm not going to get any more. And he kind of ghosted on me after that. I'm like, fine. So his mom basically said, you got duped. I can't believe some sleazy insurance guy sold you this insurance. We have insurance already. You don't need to get any more. So it's funny how people think, right? When they don't think anything's going to happen, how this attitude they have that you don't need to get insurance. You don't need to protect yourself anymore. We got insurance. I don't really know what you got, but we have something and I'm sure that it's enough. That's kind of this mentality that people have sometimes. 3 weeks later, after I signed this policy for this young man, he goes to the trampoline park in Sherwood Park and he jumps in the foam pit and he goes in head first, unfortunately, and he breaks his neck because I believe he bottomed out. He hit the bottom, breaks his neck instantly. So I get the call from the owner of the painting company. He's like, Dan, like, Landon broke his neck. And you have to understand, when you're a new agent, you're thinking stitches, broken bones, soft tissue injuries. You're thinking these are the types of claims that we deal with. But no, He broke his neck. He's paralyzed. So I'm like, oh my gosh, like, you know, you're a new agent. You're like, oh my gosh, like, what does this mean for me, right? I only had maybe a couple claims up until that time. So yeah, I'm talking, I'm dealing with it. I get a call from mom shortly. I go meet her at the hospital. She's now, of course, got a complete change of attitude. She's like, what is this insurance? Landon's like, Mom, I'm making $900 a day today. Because at the time, ICU paid $900 a day in that policy. And she's like, what is this? So I come into the hospital. I show her the coverage. I explain all the details. I explain how to make a claim. I say, you know what, we don't know. This is also fresh, but like, you know, this is definitely a claim that we're going to put it in and you guys are going to be taken care of during this time. And just the look that she gave me, like, wow, like, I can't believe that this is real. Like, I can't believe this is actually kicking in for us during this time. Because guess what? Mom quits her job to spend every day in the hospital with her son. Right? What mother wouldn't? Right? Think about all the other things that come into play. Dad's stressed out. The whole family's living at the hospital, coming for visits, spending time at the hospital all day long sometimes, because this is fresh. At the time, you know, he was surviving, but they didn't really know what's the next step forward. Will he get his functionality back? There's so much unknowns. There's so much stress. At least one less thing they had to worry about was financial strain. Okay, Dad was still working a little bit, but they really weren't working. The whole family was basically shut down for the next couple of months. Think about when you're selling an HE8 family plan to somebody. Like, yes, it's cool. We can celebrate a broken finger or arm or leg because we know that they'll be fine in a couple of months. But what happens when something life-changing happens to a family, right? And the family's whole lives are turned upside down. And you have to realize nobody cares about money when someone in their family gets hurt. But unfortunately, the bill collectors want their money anyway. Right? And there's expenses and there's costs that come into play that you don't even consider because no one ever thinks it's going to happen to them. So they don't think deeply enough into it to think, what are all the things I'm going to have to pay for while one of my loved ones are in the hospital, in the ICU? Okay. So, you know, this is a back and forth thing. Like, we helped with the claim. She ended up, I always was kind of like not really wanting to follow up too hard on, hey, what's the actual number that you got paid? Because, like, you know, when it's such a catastrophic event in a family's life, you don't want to be acting like, what's the number? What's the number, right? You don't want to be like that. So
I get the training.
Yeah. So I left it alone. And, like, you know, they use that money to re-outfit their home so it can be wheelchair accessible. They use that money for specialized rehab programs because, unfortunately, like the Glen Rose, like these public hospital rehab programs are just not well designed for these types of injuries. And he ended up going down to Miami to do like a special treatment. These are all things that cost money. The parents basically would have had to spend their entire retirement savings. All of their investments would have been squandered to cover these things. We paid them $78,000 tax-free. Okay. You don't even realize all the different things that could be used for in a situation like that. The money did get used up because you don't realize how expensive it is. And what expense are you willing to spare for your child? Right. So this is really what made it click in for me, why we do what we do. The stories of the smaller to mid claims are great. They're awesome because they happen all the time. We all have experienced it or known tons of people that have experienced it. But every once in a while, you come across a situation like this where someone's life's changed forever. And they have so many other things to deal with, but at least you came into their life at some point and showed them something that was valuable, and they saw the value in it. Not really ever thinking something like this would happen. So I have to say, guys, like that was kind of what switched my mindset. You know, you guys don't have to wait for a big claim like this to happen to switch your mindset as well about what's the deeper reason about why we do this. Think about traditional insurance people. They barely ever have claims. Why? Because stuff like this doesn't happen very often, right? How often does someone die, break a neck, get critically ill? It happens, but it's very, very rare. But it does happen in our realm as well. We cover for all the other stuff, but we also cover for this as well in ways that traditional insurance simply can't or won't. Landon has since made several claims for kidney infections and all kinds of, the whole family's made claims. The brother broke his foot. Dad's had 2 surgeries. Brenda slammed her finger in the car door. Didn't get claimed on that one because she didn't have the stitches planned. But guys, these things are going to happen whether or not you approach these families.
Mm.
You know, they're either going to have their coverage or they're not. And you're either going to have that conversation with them to book that appointment, to give them the opportunity to get it, or you won't. But think about this. I went to a trade show, met an owner of a painting company, not really thinking, you know, just doing what I would normally, doing what we all do. We go out, we're having conversations, we're doing what we're said, but you don't know whose life you're going to touch by going and having these conversations. So if we're having sometimes maybe 3 to 5 conversations a week, are we really trying to help people? Remember, we're trying to show everybody that this exists. Our main job is to create awareness, to educate. Okay. So it kind of goes back to when you have a story like this and you realize that if I hadn't gone out and done that thing and touched that one person that led to that other conversation, that led to that sale of that other person, this family would have been in a completely different situation today. Right, guys? So it's our responsibility to make sure that we go out and we touch people, because yes, we'll have lots of claims and lots of fun stories that we can laugh about and think are funny, but sometimes things like this are not quite as funny. They're actually like the one silver lining that a family gets to have in a situation where they were out of control and something happened that was not under their control. So yeah, guys, all I'm going to say is that this story really is what allowed me to see the deeper value of Combined. Let's not lose focus on the small claims, but let's like really focus on the fact that we do cover people in ways that traditional insurances don't. And it's our responsibilities, our conversations, it's our drive to go out there and get beat up and get rejected and get ghosted on. It's all for a greater purpose of finding the people that are willing to listen and are willing to protect their families. Yeah. And that's really what this is about, guys. $78,000, almost like, and he actually almost could have gotten more if he'd spent an extra $24 a month. If his mom hadn't talked him out of getting that extra $24 a month of coverage, this would have been double. We're talking 20 some dollars a month to change a family's life sometimes, right? So yeah, guys, just really think deeply about this, because one day this could be you having a story like this, where this could be a client of yours that experiences something like this one day, and you'll have the, you know, the gratitude of knowing that you made that initial step to get in front of them. All right.
Let's give Dan a huge round of applause. Fantastic. Let's give Dan a huge round of applause, guys. Amazing, amazing. And on top of that, guys, like that's what it is about. It's about these big claims. Like think of life insurance. This is the same thing of that payout. Not everybody gets paid out their life insurance and somebody passing away. Usually it goes on for a longer time and then they end up canceling it because the premiums get too high. But and then they have savings and it's all that kind of stuff. Here, guys, this is what it's all about. And you're hearing from Dan. So there's a couple of things we really want to point out. Did Dan go like this? Oh my God, you're going to love this one. No, he talked like, hey guys, this is what it's about. Like you can almost feel it. Yeah. So when we're going through the presentation, you're going to be like, here's some of the small ones. And then if you're going to go through something like this, you're going to take the energy and make it serious, because it is serious. You're gonna be like, hey, you know, ever been on a trampoline? Oh my God, this guy fell in, got $78,000. No big deal. Okay, next. That's going through the motions. But if we're talking like here, we get to the emotion and find out what this is. So we're gonna go practice it. And look at that. Dan said he went to a networking event, and then a friend introduced him to the organizer, working to the guy that's the employer. He saw the value. He got it like this. The mom says, no, like you shouldn't have got this. And then boom, this thing happens and this is paid out. Everything happens for a reason, guys. And this is the stories we want to go out there and share. And Dan's right. You don't need to wait for your own. You don't want that to happen. Use this story and then let's go out there and honestly build. We could just use this one claim story and become the biggest company ever, just with this one claim story. So it's up to us. So let's go to the breaker rooms for 2 minutes and practice this one. Make sure you're giving it your all and kind of changing the tone to making sure it's something serious. We'll come back in 2 minutes. Great job. Thank you so much, Dan. All right, welcome back. Welcome back. Turn to your neighbor, give him a high five and say, thank you so much, Dan. Fantastic. So again, guys, you know, this is what this is all about. This is what this business is about. And it's touching on the heartstrings. Again, it's something that maybe we're missing. It's, you know, we want to help people. This can happen to anybody, anytime, any place. And by just having a plan to HEA, like that's what they got paid out. And you just never know when these things are happening. And there is a lot of big stories that we've done. Remember all the big, like we've got about 10, 15 that by just showing people, that's the number one heartstring we want to be talking about. All the other ones are good because something small can happen along the way. But at the end of the day, guys, like this is, if you really want to help people, this is it. I just want to help people. I just want to help people. I just want to help people. That's all I ever hear in the world. This is a chance to actually help people, to really do it. Not be like, hey, I helped my friend move. Well, what a pillar to the community. Like this is something crazy that we can actually go out there and help, but we have to be skilled. And like Dan says, the nose and all that kind of stuff. But to get to one of those, I bet you it's worth it to Dan. And that's what it said the shift is. So this is what we do this all for, guys. So let's give yourselves all a huge round of applause for going out there and sharing this. All right, guys, let's come back at 9:55 here. So let's have a nice little break here. We'll come back at 9:55 and we'll get this thing rocking and rolling. Great job. Thank you so much, Dan. All right, welcome back. Welcome back. Turn to your neighbor, give him a high five and say, thank you, Daniel. Perfect, guys. So great job across the board. But again, that's the stories. This is what we're doing. This is the build up, right, for it. So it's like, there's nothing missing from this opportunity. And it's just for us. And we're going to start to learn about that today. So what we're going to do is we're going to go through this for 5 minutes here just to recap what we talked about last week, just the final stuff to make sure we understand, because if we're getting this done in 3 to 5 years, what does that look like? If it's 45 years and it doesn't work and you don't really retire, and somebody's like, here, you can do it in 5 years, right? I'm at a high school. You just go like this. You can do this in 5 years and you can go do this kind of stuff, live the lifestyle that you always want, or you could go this way and it's not going to work. Which one are you going to take? And funny enough, people still just go this 45 year. Isn't that crazy? Because they're like, what's the catch? The catch is you just got to go work hard and you got to push away all those things. Everybody is capable to do anything they ever put their mind to if you focus fully on it. But if it's your second or third or fourth or fifth thing that's in your life, then no wonder can't be this. You should be like, I want 20 appointments a week so I can have 4 or 5 sales, so I get 4 or 5 new clients, so I can bring in this and I can get to Jack and all that stuff. And they're going to reward me with free trips, prizes, and all this kind of stuff. It's like, I feel like I'm weird for even saying this. Doesn't it feel weird that some guy's actually saying this? You're like, yeah, sounds about right. But we got to do something about it, right? Like we got to do our job here. So we're going to go this, and we want to shift this up a little bit here to make sure we're going in the right direction. So we talked about going invisible, obviously all the ways to get to abundance. We talked about 100 clients, 250. That's why the goal is 100 clients to get off the bat, to get to there so you can start going from each place. And then you get to abundance, and we do this the right way. And the reason why we're kind of making the shift is so that we can actually service these clients the proper way, which is to pull out more referrals from, so you can learn how to build a business from home. Because we're still building a business. We're not just here to get to a certain point to do customer service. We want to do this thing so we can actually learn a skill set that you can build from. Imagine being able to do that from home. They already trust you, like you, love you. And you can actually go like this, boom, and you get new clients every single week just from that. Like that's an amazing thing, because now you actually have the skill set to go out there and do it. But on the way to that, we got to get to work. We got to go get beat up because we're invisible. We got to start to emerge. And this is where you're going to really learn about yourself and find out all the kind of stuff that's knows and the stuff like that. But the better you kind of move forward, it's worth it every single time. If you ask Dan, has it been worth it, Dan? 100%, right? And we haven't even done it the way that we can go do it here. So what happens when we all go after this thing and the same goal, which is the kind of the different change up? Because that's the one thing. 22, 22, 02, 22 is a new focus, a new energy, a new beginning, a race to 1,000 new clients, which is abundance. And everyone starts from scratch. And that's the cool thing, is that we're all in it together. We're all going here. What does it look like? How does it feel like? Now everybody's going to go this, but now you can actually use your old clients, if you can, to funnel actually what Janelle's saying. Now you're going to get, you're thinking different. You're not just like, oh, I'm just going to go and service them. You're like, oh, I kept my streak. Cool, right? You're going to write that down in your book? Like I kept my streak going. That's not the thing that's going to get you. We all know deep down inside that's not really helping, right? So we got to always kind of keep moving forward in the right direction. So goal equals 1,000 new clients. 1 new individual equals 1 client. 1 new family counts as 2 clients, 2 new clients. Why? Because there's going to be probably 2 people in the family. Well, Mark, what if they have 3, 4 kids? 2 for a household, just because they, it should be 1, but we're going to go with 2 so we can actually start focusing on that as much as possible. If you have clients already, they're just used for referrals and claim leads. Again, you still get paid off of it. They're still for everything else out there, but they're used for claim leads and referral leads, because literally every time you get a claim, your business should boom. But the reason why it's not is because it's an afterthought. It's like, oh no, but I had plans this weekend, right? The Walking Dead marathon's on again, right? with commercials. So I can't wait to watch that, right? I don't know. So if you get to 100, you get a blue jacket. Now the prestige of being at this event, you're going to get to be having to wear a blue jacket and walk around, because now it's not about how much money you make. It's about how many people you actually really protected, and kind of change that up, right? 250, 500, and then you have a white jacket. Imagine in the future when we got thousands of people here, and they're just like, oh, Jenna with the white jackets, you know? She's just like, oh, this old thing, right? You know, like the whole time, guys, just having fun with it, but just thinking, I know it doesn't make a whole lot of sense now, but I guarantee you, you're going to look sharp and everything like that. And again, you know, on our certain nights when we're partying, we're obviously wearing our nice outfits and stuff like that. But other parts, like we can be wearing these nice jackets to make it, you know, like this is what it's all about. Because again, it inspires more people to go out there and do a little bit more. Because when you get your blue jacket, you're inspiring hundreds of people to go out and get their blue jacket. But on top of that, you helped 100 new people to get this company moving in all the right directions. So this is what we're talking about really quickly as we're running through 1,000 new clients. Why? Everybody starts together. Commission is 70%, instead of 30. Do you want to get paid 70% or 30%?
70.
Right? Doesn't make any sense. Why not 70, right? Like that doesn't even a question. When we got here, we're like, oh, can we get some old lead costs so we can get 30%? No, we're like, let's get 70. Like, let's do this, right? So fixes a streak, want to get as many clients in a week as possible. So now you're just like, oh, okay, I'm just getting my one streak, you know, just my one client, just so I can, it's not about that, guys. It's about how many people can I go protect every single week? And that streak will never, ever stop, ever, as moving forward. So increasing referrals makes you want to get good at referrals to protect more clients. Focus on getting people to talk about ROP, family discounts, and claims. You're going to start saying it more. Why? Because those are things that people can talk about. Do you know what I mean? Like if you ever heard somebody go like this, what's a clothing store that somebody knows about? Aritzia, right? Hey, there's a sale at Aritzia. It's full price. Anybody say that to anybody?
No.
There's a sale there. We're not even using that. There's a discount and we don't even talk like that. No one ever goes, you can't wait till you get this new purse. It's full price. How's that going to make you feel? That doesn't make any sense, right? Or what if you got to try on this purse for a while, and if you didn't like it, you could actually take it back and get all your money back. It's starting to think a little bit different, guys. Of this is how people think, but no one's running around being like, oh my goodness, there's some high quality insurance out there and you can play premiums. You know what I mean? Like, guys, we got to start thinking like outside the box. And now we start thinking outside the box. Servicing clients. Now it makes you want to ask for referrals instead of just going through the motions. The idea, number one thing, is to actually build your business more, and then to make sure that they feel like they know what's on their products and everything like that. But that's secondary to building this, because these people know you, like you, trust you, love you, and they already know what the product is. Why do you want those people to tell people? And this is what we want to get them to talk about, because they don't want to talk about $300 a day. Next up here, guys, growing. Newly licensed agents have the same goal to get to 1,000 clients and live in abundance. Will attract more people to Combined. This is the new people that are going to come through, right? The new people that are going to come through. They're like, we're all in the same goal. Doesn't matter. People start later. Now we're all starting together here. But even if somebody starts later, they can go and pass, and they can go, I want to get this thing done. You're telling me there's a shot to be somewhere done? Wait till some people really hear what's going on here and how on point this is. Because when we first started, we didn't know. And now we know exactly what's going on. So it's like, here, go. And we can get it done in 3 to 5 years if you choose so. Combined growth. New clients is what all companies want, so they can actually get more money to give us more money. The way Chubb works, we will get twice as many people on the trip. You'll get all this types of stuff. You'll be more expensive, because Chubb and the way Combined works is you get to a certain percentage of growth, you double your money. Like, that's incredible, right? So they start giving out more and more stuff once we hit that level. Personal skill set. Focus on tasks instead of distractions. Want to get to families and niches. You're going to be like, I want to make sure I'm actually getting my presentation perfect, because it's about them. It's about them to get there. It's not about me. I want to make them so excited that they're telling their friends and family how good my presentation was, even if the screen wasn't on. All right, like, this guy's so good. He sold me when he didn't even have the screen on. That guy's cocky. All right, helping people. More people protected because of our mission. You heard it from Dan's thing. You've heard what this is. At the end of the day, more and more new people, just like that. Never know what's going to happen. Like, guys, every single week we have claim stories, and those are the ones that we pick. There's lots of claim stories here that we have all the time, and this is happening, and people are not getting paid out there because, like Dan said, we're only doing 1 or 2 or 3 appointments. We got hired by Combined. It's our job to go out there and do this part. Combined does this thing. Clients are sent in there. We do in between. We'll talk more about that in a second. So here it all looks like, guys, just to get excited about it, to have that energy. Who wants to live in abundance? Yes. right? Who wants to kind of live that thing, race to 1,000 new clients? Remember the people going like, hey, how did you get here? What did you do, right? You didn't go, hey, I just showed up to a couple meetings a week. No, you went to work. You went and gave everything you got. You sacrificed things. You want to tell that story. That sounds so much better than just like, well, my parents gave it to me. New individual, 2 clients. New family, 2 clients. Again, all the other things here will be in the call-in. There'll be a nice little add-on to there. Old Face still counts for APV, points, and Plinko. So all the stuff still counts for everything. We're still going to do some stuff. We're still going to do some cool incentives, maybe coming up soon here. 10 appointments is still the key. And abundance is 3 to 5 years. So if this is done in 3 to 5 years, let's get excited about it. It's all a common goal. It's like, what can we go do? What does it look like? Can we maybe, like sometimes like, oh, I'm just so beat up and tired and stuff like that. What are we tired about? Have you ever shoveled dirt? Have you ever shoveled dirt for a living? It's not fun. We're talking about, oh, I gotta go to training. Oh, you don't even know what the weather was like. What? Shoveling dirt. And you know how good you get at shoveling dirt after a while? You can do 2. Like that. But that's it. It stops after that. But we don't have to shovel dirt here. This is why I'm so passionate. I used to shovel dirt. I went to school for landscape architecture. I was designing and then I was shoveling dirt. How does that make sense? So I was like, listen, that didn't really work out the right way. This is why we want to go get this done so you can actually have the future that you always wanted. So let's get excited about knowing what it is. You have to look at the perspective like we literally get to maybe even be on Zoom and be at home doing presentations, or I could be anywhere in the world doing the same thing. Is it worth it to go for it? I don't know. Have to ask yourself that one. We got this. All right. So with all that stuff, guys, how do we go get it? How do we improve? This is why we're doing this in the trainings. Like, what can we go do? What can we go figure out so we can get better and better and better? So that you're sitting down with people, because this is the stuff that we love, because you're going to see some really great skill sets here today, so that you can sit down across from somebody and be like, okay, I need to practice this because this is actually how sales works. Going through and just pushing this on the presentation is called showing them a presentation. It has nothing to do with sales, just to let you know. Sales is now asking for the close, finding this, handling a couple of objections. Or if you're really good at it, you're handling objections before it comes up, right? But going through this is pushing a presenter. That could be anybody, anytime. I used to do that PowerPoint in school, right? I didn't get somebody to go, well, here's 40%, here's 70% commission, Mark. I don't want to give me that. This is sales. We have to understand, we have to bring this whole thing, but that's the presenter part, right? So if you're just clicking through and just going through the motions, Mark, I did my 10. No, like, why don't I take the skill set to actually be like, I got to get this person. What do I know about this person? When I ask the questions, how did I find out? Oh my goodness, they go snowboarding. The rest of the presentation shifts to snowboarding because that's important to them. That's what every chapter is about them and then important for them, right? So we're going to go through quite a few things. So the first one here, guys, give yourselves a huge round of applause here. We got some cool ones today. So this is going to be a lot of fun so we can get our skill set up. So we're going to have some fun. Now, these are the first ones from last week, right? So obviously the other ones from the week before, don't argue with anybody because you never win. We all understand that one? We might think we win, but we never do, right? But here's principle 3, and we went through this one already. We're just going to go through the answers on it. If you are wrong, admit it quickly and empathetically. Just let it go. We're wrong, it's okay, right? So here was the first question, and we'll just go through the answers together. What does the phrase, by fighting, you will never get enough, by yielding, you might get more than you've expected? What does that mean to you? So we had the answers from the last day. Let's just go through these because we got to get through here. And the second one here is throughout this chapter and these amazing stories, what is the underlying trait of most people when they are not pleased with something? Right? So we'll kind of go through these two. The very first one really hits home. Going to war or having an argument will never get everything you want your way, but by falling on the sword the right way, you will probably get more good than you thought. So what does that really mean, right? If we're wrong, just allow it to be wrong, right? When keeping it real goes wrong, have you ever watched that before? It's just like, no, I'll never admit I'm wrong. It always just backfires in the future because what happens is our lie turns into another lie and then just goes like this and then this. Honestly, if you're just wrong, just let it go. Just be like, hey, I'm wrong. Shoot. It hurts a little bit, but really does it? Because really it's going to actually make the other person feel better. But here's the other thing about this one, just to really hit it home. Combined, client, us. What does that mean? I'll break it down a little bit further. Combined does its job. Clients are out there, they're not even thinking about insurance. Our job is to get in front of them. Mark, you have no idea I got cancellations this week. Okay, that's fine. It happens. but what did I do wrong that I could fix?
Yes.
Because on one client it worked. How come it didn't work on another client? Ooh, maybe I just had to tweak it a little bit. The best thing about being wrong is you can actually find out more than you thought by finding out what's wrong. Oh, customers, at the end, there's a couple of things that Combine does wrong, right? We have to kind of fix, but there's not a whole lot. End of the day, if you don't get your 10 appointments, that has nothing to do with Combined, has nothing to do with the client. That's just you. Because the next one is, people just want somebody else to blame. Oh yeah, you don't know. I was supposed to be in the net, they just no-showed me. Oh yeah, it's gonna happen. But how good do you gotta be? Because I don't think anybody is gonna cancel on Richard Branson or Arnold. Somebody's like, I got a Zoom meeting with Arnold Schwarzenegger. You're gonna be like, oh, no. No, you're gonna sit down with him. So how much value do you gotta add to make sure? Mark, you tell me not every time, because you can have to grow for it, but maybe there's always certain things you can get better at and be like, it's Combined and here. I've got to lie on the sword and be like, hey, sometimes I need to get better. How come I didn't get 10? Oh, you don't know. People out there, Mark, are just not looking for it. There's a million people in Edmonton. Hi. You ever sick or hurt? Ever got sick or hurt? Ever got sick or hurt? You will find somebody with a cast. And it doesn't take that long, right? It's all about us in the between. I know we go a little bit deep here sometimes, but that's the only reason why we read the book. It's not just to be like, oh, it's just patting us ourselves on the back. Hey, I smile all the time. I'm amazing. Oh my God, I remember people's names all the time. No, this is all for us to get better, find out what's right and all that kind of stuff. So it gets exciting. So long story short, because we're gonna get to the funner ones in a second here. Knowing this trait, what is the tactic that we can always use to have the upper hand? Admit when we're wrong. Just let it go. Just be an easy one. Just be like, hey, it's okay. I know it hurts inside, but it doesn't mean anything. I have no problem. You know why we did this training? Why we were here? Because I'm sitting there every week like, I'm wrong. Something's off, right? Our goal is to get from Combined to the client, and we're the in between. For myself, I'm like, Combined to the team, I got to be in between. So I got to take the responsibility, like, okay, there's something off. Something's not getting people fired up. So maybe we can shift it just a little bit. And you know what? We might have to go do a bunch of other things, but whatever it is, it's like we have the energy to like, I can fix it. This is on me. I take that personal responsibility, be like, hey, this is on me. I got to fix it. That's all we can do. Is that fair? Right? So let's go out there and do this. Admit we're wrong. And here's the last question. We're just going to talk about this very easily. What does this mean to you? You cannot teach a human anything. You can only help them find it within themselves mean to you. But on our business thing here, the information here is here, guys. The skill set here is honestly, you can go around looking for any other company. I promise you, you will not find that we're going this in depth on our actual presentation to learn about sales skills. And yet the things are not going up. You have to have a personal responsibility, be like, the information's here. That's on yourself. What you do after training, what you do with this stuff, what you practice and all that kind of stuff is on you. I know I'm a bad news bear and you can blame me and point fingers at me. That's fine. I don't care. But this is the real deal. Until you figure this out, it's just on us. So here's the information. Do you want to do anything with it? That's it. Doesn't matter. Nothing's worrying about if you're hurt or sick or tired or what. It doesn't matter. This is what should get you fired up. I'm in the room where we're talking about things like this. Kind of gets fun, right? Yeah. All right. So principle 4, begin in a friendly way. Do we know this one works?
Yes.
Do you remember a kid when you were a kid and you wanted ice cream? Hi, Mom. You're beautiful. I just cleaned my room for no reason. Yeah. Did we always do that? Yeah. Kids are salespeople, right? We know that. Yeah. Kids know that actually works. But yet sometimes we forget that works. Just become in a friendly way and actually everything just opens up because Mom's going to be like, I am beautiful, right? And then even if she goes, and he did clean his room and I know he wants something, but at the end of the day, say something nice in a friendly way. So with this thing here, what does the phrase, so we'll write down these questions. What does the phrase by Lincoln, a drop of honey catches more flies than a gallon of gal? What does that mean to you? So we'll just take a couple questions. What does that mean to you? The sun can make you take off your coat more quickly than the wind. Remember in the chapter there? The wind's trying to blow the person's jacket off. Well, usually what happens when somebody's wind, they tighten it up. So if you're trying to go with somebody with force, guess what they do? They tighten up and they bring it in. But if you're friendly and the sun starts shining, and guess what happens? Somebody's like, oh, it's too hot. It's nice out. I'm going to enjoy. Isn't that kind of crazy? So by being friendly, you'll get way more by being friendly than being combative and all that kind of stuff. Simple one, right? What is an example in your life where you did this and it worked? So where in your life did you actually just like be friendly? Was it calling a customer service one time? Was it calling, your telephone bill was like a little bit off and you're just like, listen, I need these guys to be, I just need to give them a little bill for right now. Where did that thing being friendly actually help? So just maybe write down like an example in your head. Was it with your, with your significant other? Might that be a good one, right? Yeah. Hopefully this is helping you out with your relationships. So what's the place that did work? And here's a fun one too. What's an example in your life where you didn't do this and it went a little off temper and it didn't work? Just one, right? Just one example of that. Just think of it like in a friendship, right? Where would you become a little bit strong and combative instead of just being nice and friendly, especially at the beginning. And again, where we're asking that question is, guys, we don't want to constantly be patting ourselves on the back and be like, well, I don't do any of that. That's just everybody around us. When we read this book, guys, just a little side note, every time I read this book, and I've read it about 30 times, I'm like, man, do I suck sometimes. Right? I'm like, oh, I do that. I read it, just read it, and I still did it. You guys agree?
Yes.
So if that's happening every time, it's because guess what? Sometimes we suck at things, but if you're constantly looking at it and you're getting better, that's how we can get to that level. But we're just starting, right? So it's okay. This book is going to also remind us like, dude, shoot. But you can't be like, oh, I'm already crushing that one, crushing this one. But your business would know. Because if you're doing this properly, your business will explode. It's just unbelievable. Because if you're actually really listening to them in the presentation, you probably sell almost every time. If you really are listening to what their software, but we'll work on that over time. Okay. So we'll leave those ones to you guys. Where in your presentation can this skill really, really help? So where in our presentation can being friendly help? The introduction, right? Even just when you first start off, first interaction, friendly and compliment, right? Hey, oh my goodness, what's that picture of in the background? Oh my goodness, you got a family of 4. Oh my goodness, like, what do you guys do? What do you like? Oh, what do you do? Like just fun compliments, nice things on the Zoom or in person, right? Just little things to get them. Right? Mommy, I want ice cream. Do we want something, right? We want to help them realize. So we got to be a little bit friendly at the beginning if we want some ice cream. 4-step process sets the friendly tone. Again, if you're not doing the 4-step process, you're missing on a massive friendly tone because it puts them at ease, right? Hey, the combine has a simple, because it also cuts from you talking about, whatever to also like, okay, perfect. So let's get started. You want to make sure, because I want to make sure I'm taking your time into consideration and everything like that. I promise you only, 15 minutes. So the company's got a simple 4-step process and it's just a lot of fun. It's all pretty much geared towards you. The first thing is we're going to talk about what's different. What's this company about? Why am I sitting in front of you, right? The second thing here, it's all geared towards you. The Form IQ, just asking you questions about you and your lifestyle and everything like that. The third thing is we're going to gear the lifestyle. We're going to gear policies and everything towards you and how your life is going. And the fourth thing is that people are loving is because people want to get this out to as many people as possible, to each one teach one, everybody's loving. Right? You're just doing that to set them at ease and like, do you mind if I begin kind of thing? And again, we'll go through that in the future. The why statement shows that we're on their side, right? You just go, just right on their side, super simple. Hey, I didn't even like insurance. Like that kind of stuff like that. Just like, I didn't really like insurance. Right? Oh, all of a sudden it just flips it, right? But if you don't say it, because you're like, well, no, Mark, the people just need to know I'm here. This is how I talk. But you can trust me, you can really shift people on that one. Form IQ, appreciation about them and their needs. This is the best thing. You ask them one question, they start, oh my goodness. You're a mechanic for 20 years. Oh my, fantastic. That's appreciation, right? Genuine appreciation. Financial house is the realization, is the real thing and realization. Make sure we're hitting home on that one. And the rest of the presentation is the solution. So all this stuff is being friendly, 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 friendly. And the rest of the presentation just turns into the solution of what the problem is. Because right here is when they find out that there's a problem, right? That's why we do the financial house. All right. More energy, Mark? Okay. What are the quick steps for success? So very quickly, guys, this is very easy stuff, and we can kind of go through it. 1, be friendly, be kind, start off being friendly, super easy. Compliment with appreciation, fantastic. Make them feel important about their interests. Pretty easy, right? Bring up the situation in a non-threatening way. Whenever you're going to have to go and talk to, this is not just for the sale, this is like say, so we're going to play a little exercise here. And the last one here is thank them. So the exercise here is we're going to go to the breakout rooms. I'm just going to do this quickly because we got a lot to get through today. But we want to make sure we're doing this stuff on steps. So let's just say you're going to call somebody. So one person is going to be the person that has forgot that their policy went down. And you're just going to call to be like, hey, just want to ask you, hey, how's it going? They're like, hey, good. Like, how's the family? Oh, the family's good. We're just super, just busy with the hockey and everything. Like, oh yeah, how's the hockey going right now? You got a couple of McDavids running around, right? Almost. They're like, yeah, almost. And they're just like, oh, well, and it's just awesome that you guys put so much time into that, because honestly, my dad did that for me back in the day, and it's just a great thing. So that's really cool. You guys get together. Hey, the reason why I'm calling, again, is we just noticed the company just lets us know if anything kind of goes down, and your policy just may have just went down here. So they always just give us a note just to make sure that sometimes it's on us, but sometimes it could just be that you switch bank accounts or something forgot or something just kind of went off to the side here. So I just like to see, did you know that your policy went down? No. Right? And you're like, oh, okay, you didn't? It's like, oh yeah, I didn't know it at all. Oh my, okay, shoot. And they're like, oh, I switched my bank account or something, right? You're just like, it's a non-threatening way because you're given a bunch of compliments. I'm trying to say this fast. So you're just like that. And then they're like, okay, perfect. So like, hey, why don't we call Optima and we can put it back on the books right now. Yep. Simple. But let's just practice doing it in a friendly way. So we'll throw this in the group. So we can just start off being competent, have one person do it this way, one person the other way, just kind of going through it in a nice way of practicing to do it friendly, just so we can have a little bit of fun with it. So just as if you're going to get somebody to put something back on the books, not to be like, hey, are you broke? Because every time this thing falls off, right? Or you just call them up like, hey, your policy went down. You don't know what kind of day they're having. You don't know. So if we begin in a friendly way, it's so much easier just to find out, because maybe they're just like, actually, I'm just going through a lot of things right now. Okay, you know what? I'll give you a call back later, because they don't need anything. You don't know. And instead of just going straight into what we want, it's about doing that kind of stuff, right? And that's why you don't send text messages. Hey, your policy's down, oh my goodness, loser, right? So it's kind of shifting that kind of stuff. All right, so let's go practice this one. We're just going to go to the breakout rooms for 2 minutes. Have some fun with this, guys. So one person is this, one person is that, and we'll come back in 2 minutes. All right, welcome back. Turn to neighbor, give them a high five, and say that was very friendly. All right, guys. So obviously, this is obviously common sense, but at the same time, it just makes sure that, if we're going through something, to always start off with being friendly, because you don't know what they're going through, right? So this is always going to get it so that we can bring up a situation in this business, but also just in life, right? Be friendly, and then you can just, I think it's a lot of the things in the book was just like, they kind of just like threw it in afterwards, because sometimes people are just like, what? That guy was like trying to blame like 10 people. And he's just like, listen, I was wrong, and that's okay, because then it's just, going back forward, but just bring it up in a friendly way. It's just always just going to put it a lot softer, right? Awesome. So principle 5, get the other person saying yes, yes, immediately. Ooh, who likes this skill? Yes. Right? This is a lot of fun. Yes, thank you, Jenna. There we go. Yes, right? So guys, this is something that can literally change your business. And you probably hear, like when people are doing presentations, you probably hear it from your sales leader. They're always like, wouldn't you agree that this is probably just an awesome thing? Yes. Why are they doing that? Because you get people going, yes, because if they're like this, it's almost impossible to keep going, yes, yes, yes. They'll open up every time, right? But if they're sitting here saying no, then they're just going to be like this the whole time. And you're fighting against emotion. That's what it says in the book. There's something powerful of getting them to be agreeing, because then you're taking them on a journey, right? Because it once becomes their idea, this means it's their idea. This means, no, I don't want it, right? But if they're like this, you're just like along the way, and if they answered yes to a certain question, you can bring it up again. Don't you think all Canadians need this protection? Mm-hmm. Yes. And at the end, they're like, oh, no, this is not for me. Oh, I thought you said all Canadians. You're not. Oh, you're not. Like, who are you? Are you a spy? I knew it. Right. So, have fun with it. But guys, this is something that can really change the whole thing. Right. So what is the Socratic method? Right. Instead of telling people they are wrong, ask questions so the opponents or the person you're talking about would have to agree. Keep winning small admissions of yes until without noticing it for them, the opponents found themselves embracing the conclusion they would have not agreed 2 minutes prior. So again, instead of just being like, you're wrong, which seems to be a great thing of all relationships, right? Is start getting them saying yes. And this is what he used to do hundreds of years ago, used to do this, and people still use it to this day. Instead of just going, you're wrong, it's just finding a way to like get them to go on a journey to self-realize. Does that make sense? So let's have some fun with this one. Can you see how this could help in our presentation?
Yes.
Yes. Does this technique give us a new confidence within the presentation?
Yes.
Yes. Doesn't this make you just want to go out there and do more presentations?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes. Okay, I heard it.
Yes.
You can probably think of a few places in our presentation where we could insert this technique.
Yeah.
Yes. Where would those places be?
Wouldn't you agree?
Wouldn't you agree? Now, here's the clincher, right? Yes, yes, but there's got to be somewhere that you're leading them to. But do you notice that here is where we got to? This is the whole point of asking that, right? This is the point, right? Is this one? Doesn't this make you want to just do more presentations? Yes. Boom. Gotcha. But I don't want to say gotcha at that point. I want to go one more and then have something else. Okay, where would those places be? You already get them on the yes, 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 but now I can find out where this is. So now it takes their mind off of that they just said that. Does that make sense? Because again, if you're just saying those things, you'll notice when you're in real sales, a lot of that people start doing this kind of stuff. It's not real, but when you're sitting there across from somebody, you want to get that and then go to the next one because you already have it in your brain. So we'll talk more about that in a second. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yes.
we'll go to the next level. We'll have some fun. We have some examples of this. So I'll do the financial house, but we all kind of know what this looks like. We'll probably do it another day. But obviously here, this is where we protect you. But at the end of the financial house, and you just make, you want to be going into the yes, yes, because now you're actually doing a close right in the middle of your presentation. Does that make sense? So very simply, because now if you get them on a close now, you know exactly where you're going.
Yeah.
You've done your job. You've made them feel good about it. You found out some certain things, all that kind of stuff. And you just went to the financial house, which should be the greatest part of your presentation because, and not the longest, just needs to be, hey, this is where we come in.
Right.
And people get stressed out and get hurt and everything kind of breaks down. Look how many people, just a disability of 6 months puts people off the rest of their days and they don't have the retirement, don't have savings and their bills go down and the stress kicks in. But this is why we come in here to protect you, the number one thing. And then you just go in there and say this kind of thing, which we'll leave for everybody afterwards and we can practice. Do you see how important you are to your financial house?
Mhm.
Yes. Do you see if anything happens to you or your family and you weren't able to work would make the foundation crumble?
Mhm.
Yes. Would you feel better knowing if anything did happen to the house, it would stand strong?
Yes.
Thank you. Perfect. Would you like to see some other clients that had something go wrong and combine help to protect their financial house?
Yes.
Yes.
Now, guess we get to go to the next slides, right? And that sets it up for the next slides. But this is the yes, yes, but this is actually a close. You just got them to say, yes, I want my foundation to stand strong. Wouldn't you want to feel better? Would you feel better knowing that we've got your back? Would you like to see some other clients? This is how sales really is. Because now you're doing this, they're like, yes, yes, I now have this for the rest of it's sold. Since they said that, I'm going to be focusing on that. Every slide is going to be like, this is why you get this better than anybody. We got to protect that foundation because they already said yes. Because what they want to do is just, that's the next skill set, right? So let's go to the next level on that one. So let's go to the breakout rooms and practice for, just 2 minutes here. Go through this, just have one person going through this, just practicing going through. We'll take 2 minutes here. We'll come back and we'll get on to the next one. Great job, everyone. All right, welcome back, welcome back. Turn to your neighbor, give him a high five and say, thank you very much. All right, does that help out a little bit, right?
Yeah.
If you can do this, this is the stuff we were trying to get to, guys. But again, it's got to be the energy. You're like, okay, 3 to 5 years. I want to get pumped up. I want to take the skill set. It's all got to be flowing into be like, this is why we're here today. So again, That's going to sound weird, right? At first, but if you practice this with everybody, just like, okay, at this point of the slide, I want to get 3 yeses and get the buy-in, right? And again, the word, it doesn't have to be perfect. You're not going to read this, just to let you guys know, you got to remember this, right? But that's why we get paid 70%. That's why combined, el client, lots of money, trips, prizes, all that stuff, to remember these types of things. But this is not like, oh, we're trying to convince them. This is just them feeling weird because, again, at the end of the day, guys, it's weird that we just came out of nowhere and just been like, hey, you want to see insurance,
Yes.
right? So we have to be this good at using this. This is why we're going through the book, to go through that so I can move forward. All right, so let's go have another one. What's going on here? Each one, teach one, thank you program. So again, 4 referrals, it's throughout the entire presentation. Don't worry, we're going to go to the perfect market and we're going to go through that whole system. But even if you just start doing this now, you can actually just have a nice little, when you get to here, get some yeses going, even if this is the end. You brought it up a bunch of times. Now you get to each one, teach one more time after you've closed them and everything like that. Just make sure you like have another slide, or when you go there, do you see why everyone is calling this the best kept secret?
Yes.
Yes. You would probably agree more people need to know about this,
Absolutely.
right? You probably are going to go share this with your friends and family anyways, but would you like to take advantage of the each one, teach one, thank you program that everybody is loving?
Yeah.
Mhm.
They got the yes,
Yes.
and then it's perfect. So this is how it works. Simple,
Yes.
Yeah.
but without this, he's like, oh, this is our each one, teach one program. We're telling them. We do 1, 2, 3. They right here, they just said, you're probably going to tell your friends and family anyways. But would you like to take full advantage of our each one, teach one, thank you program that everybody's loving? Yes. Got it. Right? So again, these are just getting those yeses, and then you go into explaining what it is and go into the whatever you've kind of arranged for your own thing. But this is the kind of stuff. So let's go to the breakout rooms. 2 minutes, practice this one. We'll come back in 2. Great job, everyone. All right, start coming back, start coming back. Turn to your neighbor, give them a high five and say yes. Yes. All right, guys. So again, this is stuff that, you know, if it sounds a little off, it's because we're just reading it, right? So it's the first time. But if we can just get into the thing of getting these types of sentences, you'll find out which one really works for you. But here's some obviously examples of what it is. Just bringing them on very soft ones, right? These are very soft, and then also you kind of like a 3rd gauge or a 4 gauger, right? And then it kind of gets them the buy-in. But you can't just be like, all right, so give me your names, right? You can't be like this. You probably think this is the best kept secret, right? Perfect. Give me all your names of all your friends and family. People are still like, each one, teach one, take advantage. It's about them. There's a lot of little science behind all that kind of stuff. And you'll find out exactly what it is, right? And this is what we're trying to do here, guys, is like, you start doing this, it'll actually increase your referrals by 10 by just getting to this point, because you've built it up so many more times. Because why do all that work? Why go do all this craziness and then just get 1 sale? It's like, for me, it's just like, oh, let's go, let's get it done. We're going 10 in a week. This is what will get you there, right? So principle 6, let the other person do a great deal of talking. Woo! That's going to hurt our ego, but that's okay, right? Again, the training right now, just for example, I talky. Nobody cares. Then when you guys start talking, for some reason, energy goes boom, right? If I just talk the whole time, I guarantee the energy just goes like this. People start checking their phones more than 10 times this in front of me. It's crazy. But the idea is let the other person do a great deal of the talking, and that's what lifts up the energy, right? So if they're not talking, if they're going through the presentation, they're not talking, they're not following. We got to make sure we're doing that kind of stuff. So what does the phrase, if you want enemies, excel your friends, but if you want friends, let your friends excel you. What does that mean to you? Just take a quick 10 seconds on these couple here. All right. So easy on this one, because when our friends excel us, they feel important. Wouldn't you agree? But when we excel them, they, or at least some of them, will feel inferior. Isn't that kind of true? When we just start bragging about ourselves and stuff like that, but that's with our friends. What are we doing with our clients? What are we saying? That's why we say only a little bit about ourselves, because you might be intimidating them when they don't even know. They don't even think. They're like, oh my goodness, this person is like this person that should know this stuff. I'm like, you know what I mean? Like, it's kind of almost intimidating if you got that person that's like almost not talking down to you, and you might not think you are, but sometimes you might be. Why is the why statement and form IQ so important? Because they're designed to get them talking. We ask them the questions. That's it. It's getting them talking. That's why it's if anything takes long in your presentation, it should be the Form IQ, right? Because that's the time when they start talking. If you're taking most of the presentation, all you're doing is talking, then you're not selling. You're just doing a presentation for yourself. Incredible, right? I'm not sitting here doing this. Every training is not for me to be like, hey guys, can you guys score me, right? How did I do today? How did my speaking? How's my tone? How did my movement, right? Did I almost pull a groin today? What's it about? It's not about that. What is it about? It's about, so how can we learn and grow together, right? That's the whole point of when you're sitting across from somebody in a presentation. It's not about me and how good my presentation is. It's about how good I am so that they feel good about themselves. So they actually go, I want this stuff for myself. That's what it is. So it's not about like, I'm looking for an applause, right? We're just looking like, how can we get better? So that's when we're sitting across from. That's true sales. That's why people are listening, right? So the why statement very easily, and we'll go through this, but we'll make sure you put this in the group. The reasons why we do the why statement is little about me. So you don't make people feel inferior. That's why you say little, because you might be like, I was always the captain of every soccer team, one of the fastest, strongest people you ever meet. I put investments in this, this, and this. So I pretty much know everything that there is about finance. So as I speak to you today, you're crap and I'm amazing. Sounds crazy, but people don't want to hear your story of why you're superior to them, right? Let them excel, let them feel stronger and better, right? Do you know what I mean? If I came up here and just like every single word, I mess up all the time in front of the room, I have no problem saying, oh crap, right? There's even some words I'm reading and you'll even notice, just to let you guys, this is how weird I am. I'll just not even say the word because I'm like, I don't think I can pronounce that right now. That's crazy talk. Who would admit that? I don't care, because the idea is it's like we're all here together trying to learn and grow. Second thing, what don't you like about car insurance? Have you ever had a bad experience? Because if you see them like, what don't you like about car insurance? And they're starting to like open up a little bit. Why is this big and crucial? Get them to lay out potential objections in the future. They might hate insurance so much, and if you don't handle it right then and there, then the rest of the presentation is a waste of your time. So if they actually have that, you can find out right in there, okay, well, do you have a bad experience? Yeah, got in a car accident and they never paid because I had a $2,000 deductible. Just like insurance companies are scams. You know what? That's exactly what I thought too. You see how I did that too? That's exactly how I did it. Why did I do like a shoulder nod? Because I'm like, I'm with insurance, but I don't want them to know and hear me. But you have no idea how many times I go out there and do this. He's like this, you know what? I didn't really like insurance. I do this over the shoulder stuff. And people are like, oh, you watch it, just start doing that kind of stuff. Again, you're on Zoom. You got to make sure like those little things like that. I was just out for lunch the other day and I was just like, the guy's like, oh, I'm like, you know what? I got this, I always had this plan for in building houses. And it was like, so I did the shoulder look and these two guys like came in. Got nothing. But the point was, the idea is just like, like it's just those energies, right? You got to shift. You can't just be like this. A little about me and why I love working for this wonderful company. First things first, I never thought I would be in insurance because I didn't really like insurance. Like, what don't you like about car insurance? Ugh. Right? I'm out. Somebody's like just reading like, I'm like, are you reading something? Right? It's got to be ourselves. We got to have some fun with this. Like, it's so entertaining. All right. So I'll throw that in the group there for. So no, principle 7, that the other person feel that the idea is his or hers. The money maker, this one, right? So these last 3 here are going crazy. So what does the phrase, people love to buy, but don't like to be sold mean to you? Exactly, right? People don't like to be told what to do, but people love when it's their idea. And sometimes they're just special about it, right? You're just like, wait a minute, I told them that like weeks ago. Let it go. It doesn't matter. If they're saying it, that means you already won. It's all good, right? It has to be somebody else. Like literally, we could say all this stuff in training, and then someone else on the street, or somebody else will say it on like a video, and you'd be like, that's what it is. That's why I play the videos. It was every time, because you never know. You're probably not listening to me, but you probably hear, Jim Ronzi got me. And we played that same video like 30 times, right? They might just get you one time, right? What's the best way to make it their idea? Ask questions to the 3rd degree of the Socratic method. This is the key of what we haven't done to the Socratic method. We've done to the 3rd degree because it opens them up, but watch how we can kind of direct them in the right direction. Where are places in our presentation that we can get them to make it their idea? So let's go through this one. We'll go to the breaker rooms. Here's a wonderful place for it. The claims, right? So now you've gone from the financial health, you're going here, you talked about this thing, you're at this one here, and now you pick a few, and then you hit one with a bit of heart, right? You go to the bigger one with heart, and then at the end of it, very simply, to get them in the yeses, you already got them sold. You already got the buy-in at the financial house, right? But now watch this. Do you see how combined helps protect your financial house?
Yeah.
Yes. Thanks. Do you see why most Canadians need this?
Totally.
Yes. Which claim story hits home the most?
All of them.
Or all of them, right? Like, which is your favorite and why, right? So the reason why we do this, yes, they feel comfortable, and get them talking. Which one hits home the most? Cutting the cheese, right? Oh yeah, sure. Cutting the cheese. I don't want to tell my husband, right? The idea is which claim story hits home the most, but like this is like, I'm telling you guys, like this is no joke. This will change your business. But again, if you're just coming here because it's Thursday and you're like, Mark, I'm already done for the weekend. Great job. Don't worry. There's a whole video that's going to slap that right in the face. But the idea is we got to have fun with this. Let's have fun. Let's just go out there and let's do this thing. So let's go to the breaker rooms for 2 minutes and practice this one. We'll come back in 2 minutes. Thank you. All right. Welcome back. Welcome back. Turn to your neighbor, give him a high five and say yes. Yes. All right, guys. So great job. So just before we get the video, just going through here.
Mark, your mic's off.
Thank you.
Sorry.
So great job, everybody. So just before we get back to the video, we just want to do one more, and we're not going to go practice this one. We'll have it in this group so you can practice with your sales leader team and everything like that. So this one very easily, you go through these presentations, but you want to make sure you're gearing them a little bit towards it. So very easy. Do you see why so many people are loving this?
Yeah.
Yes. If you're not like, it's just getting that little yes, and then you can go to like, what do you like best, right? But you got to get that yes to be like, okay, they're talking, right? Because then they feel like they're part of the presentation throughout the whole entire time. Wouldn't you love to receive a tax-free lump sum of $50,000? Yes, right? Because you just done this is after you've done it, right? So you've done the presentation. And then if they say yes to that one, what would you do with that lump sum? And get them talking, make it their idea. They've already spent the money somehow. If they're already spent the money in that conversation, you are doing your job in the best way. That's what you want to know. When they're talking, every chance they got and they're going, you're just like, yes is working, right? And we start moving forward in the right direction. And then the very last one here. So what did you like best? Even if you didn't like that, I would still ask that because you already know what it is, but now it's their idea if they say it. So obviously you like this one. No, just like, hey, so which is your favorite part? What did you like best? And then they say, I love getting my money back. I'd love to get 50,000 back. Perfect. And then go to that part. Right, go right to the quote and app and stuff, right? So the idea is this is what we want to be doing, guys, practicing. So we're going to leave all the slides for your sales leaders so you guys can go through these and practice and just getting in the form of it, right? It might be tweaked out. It might be a little bit different than these exact words, but if we're not getting 1, 2 yeses, it's very hard to almost close every slide. But if you can get that closed after the financial house, the rest of the presentation is just gravy, right? How cool is that? Give yourselves a huge round of applause today. All right, we're going to go to Eric Thomas, and he's going to talk. He's talking to a bunch of a young bunch of gentlemen, but just picture yourself that you're in the audience and that he's talking to you, just because it's all success kind of goes on the same platform. So we'll take this video here, we'll come back and we'll close this thing out. Great job, everybody. Thank you so much. Fantastic. So let's get to the closeout today. That we get to the nice R2A2 to close this thing out. The idea I got was what it means to me. Here's how I'll use it, and my starting date is always finishing on a nice little action sequence to get the rest of our days going. All right, welcome back. Welcome back. Turn to your neighbor, give him a high five and say, thank you for the R2A2. Great job, everybody. Give yourselves a huge round of applause here, guys. Getting to learn on, having some fun, guys, and on the Thursdays. And this is what we can do. We're just improving and getting better. And let's give Dan a huge round of applause for his amazing claim story, guys. Let's use that. Let's go out there. Like, that's something we can use to the next level. So definitely practice that one. Get that one, like exactly how that story comes out, because that one can really hit the heart. And that's how you can really start moving your business. And then, guys, we have the divisional stars tomorrow, 9:30. So we're going to have some fun like that, getting some recognition. Guys, again, from the training today, 100 clients is that first goal. 1,000 clients is abundance. Let's go to the 100 clients, get that blue jacket, start to do this, the new clients, all that kind of stuff. It can actually solve a lot of things if you're looking for the new face, right? So we're not just going through the motions. It's about building a proper business so that we can actually be done. Because on the way, 70% sounds a whole lot funner than 30%. The skill set is, do you guys have some fun with the yeses and stuff like that, right? Some extra stuff to bring, yay. But having some fun with that, like, making sure you practice it. Practice with your teams, practice everything like this, guys, so that we can get that going, because it will feel so much, the flow will be really great. But let's have some fun, right? Do some little over the shoulder checks, right? To make sure no one's gonna get you, right? But the idea is just like, having fun with your presentation. But then obviously from, setting the standard, guys, is, finish is what we get paid for here. It's not like, oh, the effort and stuff like that, because that's the obvious stuff. What did Steph Curry say? It's not about him just practicing. That's obviously, but that's where you get paid good money here, is because of the finishing. It's the want to go, right? You don't get paid for these trainings. That's not what you get paid for here. That's just like, hey, that's just bonus to be like, okay, that just helps with my day or whatever it is. But that's not what you get paid for. So if this is your considered work day to your significant other, let's put them on the phone. We'll find out, right? But the idea is like, it should be like, I want to do 10. I can't wait to get it for my skill set. Everything's better. This is what it's about, guys, because we get paid to finish the job, right? Even if you go through the whole thing, if somebody goes, you know what? I'm like, okay, how do I improve? How can I get them to just to say yes, 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 yes? And this is what we're practicing every single day. So having that own personal standard, being like, okay, I can look combined client, me, not blame, 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 blame. Me, how good do I have to be? What do I have to sound like? How many shoulder checks do I got to do, right? All that kind of fun stuff. And then guys, setting a personal, even in the video, it said, what's wrong with? You hear what he said? I don't know if people caught that one there, but it's a lot of people always say, oh, well, what's wrong with just being, a little late? What's wrong with, just, only getting 8 out of 10? What's wrong with maybe just, I'll take a couple extra months to get this thing. But what did he say? He's trying to be a champion, and champions don't say what's wrong with. It's like, what's right with? What's right with coming to the training? What's right with practicing this thing the right way? We know what's right, how to build this business. Unfortunately, we've been taught everything else is wrong. But this is one of the greatest secrets you ever find out. We're wrong. I was wrong. I went to school, I did this, and I found out that there's people, do you know there's people that live in California, that live on the beach, that have mansions? Does anybody live like that? So guess what? It's okay that we're wrong. Let's just be okay with it. Okay, guess what? But maybe if we do this, we could be right and figure it out. But we got to drop our egos and be like, you know what? That's one of the best decisions I ever made. I was like, listen, I don't know what to do. I've been shoveling dirt. And guys, again, shoveling dirt is not all the same. I went to school for pharmacy and stuff, trust me. But the idea is I was shoveling dirt at one point in my life. I did something wrong. I messed up, right? If I'm shoveling dirt, I messed up. Right? So I'm now in a room right here. We have no real problems. There's nothing. We can work no matter what, pretty much, right? You might get sick or something like that, but for the most part, you can still do it from it's kind of crazy how great we've got this set up. You can be anywhere in the world, and we're talking in 3 to 5 years. Worst case, 10 years. Right? 45, no, 10, yay. I'm in. Sign me up, right? So let's have some fun with that. But the end of the day here is, what's your personal standard? Again, this is the standard here, but what's your personal standard? Even better, what do you know that you can just beat somebody else with? How can you just know that there's something that I can outwork somebody? Right? When I said this before, I did it in front of a speech. I said, there's 3 things. 1, I don't need to sleep. Somebody like, Mark, I need 8 hours. Boom, I beat you. I don't even care if you are 10 times, you're 5 times better than I am. I only need to sleep 3 hours. I could even sleep with 1 hour if the competition's on, right? Because I was like, no, I need my solid 10. Woo! Do you know what happens when you wake up early? You own the day in a different way. It's kind of cool, right? And you're here, you don't have to wake up at 3, but the idea is just like, what can you go do, right? And it's just like always being present, being on time, all that kind of stuff. And I also said in front of a bunch of people, I said, I can take a shower in 1 to 3 minutes. And why is that important? Because some people are like, Mark, I take 45 minutes for a shower. I'm in, out. I know my problem areas. It says it on the back of the bottle. Rinse, rather, repeat. I don't need to be in there for 45 minutes. And all you sound, this is what is going on in training, Mark. What is your personal standard? What do you want out of life? If you're trying to get done, you want to talk like this. Some people think, Mark, this energy and this, that kind of stuff. Why am I pumped? Because I'm like, I want to get done. I want to live on the beach and be like, yes, we did it. And I want to turn and go high five everybody. Like, hey, we did it together. Yes. But we can't do that if you're just like, oh, I'm ready for a nap. Like that, we got to be around champions. If we're not around champions, if you're not a champion, then you're bringing other people down. So this is what we need to change the thing. It's a winning mentality and being honest with ourselves and getting better and better and better. This is our shot, guys. And there'll be some people that will come here in the future and be like, what? You had it back then? You were in the room before this was even what it is now? You must either have millions and either you can be going like this, but it's combined client. We're the in between. Guys, let's go above and beyond. Let's finish this week strong. We had a bit of a slower week here, so let's go out there and finish strong. Let's go through all this stuff and take a lot of the skills that we did today and go out there and finish this week strong because we're District 6 then. We're District 6 then. We're District 6 then. Turn your neighbor, give him a high five and say, we got this.